crypto and the world has been rocked by the house of cards that was built by a centralized company that has come crashing down. I'm sure you know what that company is. Everyone's been talking about it. Now, the beauty about what crypto and smart contracts allow is a totally different way. Though some would have had this recent centralized company's failure be a black mark on crypto, it really isn't. It's a black mark on centralized systems. Decentralization and trustless systems can help create situations where this kind of thing can never happen again. Today, we're joined by Li Ni from one of my favorite crypto projects, Wanchain. Wanchain is a partner to this channel, and I was honored to begin that partnership with them over a year ago. Though they are a partner, I want to be clear that this interview came completely at my request. Wanchain is working on tech that I feel will help create a world where money and crypto can operate in trustless systems where these kinds of failures, like what we've been seeing, and like we have discovered have happened in other places too, well, I'd like to see a world where these kind of things can't happen. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. If you like money and crypto and you're looking for a seasoned investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video, subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled, and also we do have a Rainmaker Telegram channel you can join below. Do note I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself. And today I'm super excited to bring on our special guest. We do have a Patreon group where our Patreon members do get access to our private Discord. And Fridays, we have a group call for everyone on our Patreon. Now, make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Rain. This is Nini from Wanchain. I'm so honored to be here today.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us. I've had discussion with several team members from Wanchain. Could you share with the audience what your role is at Wanchain?
Okay, as you may know, I'm VP of Wanchain Foundation right now. But like I stated several times, actually there's no very clear boundary in Wanchain team, meaning if you have bandwidth, you have power, you have ability, you have ambition, you can do whatever you want. So just include myself. I'm also taking care of the BD, some of the marketing, and sometimes I engaged myself into the community work, and even sometimes I, design the product together with our devs. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a lot of abilities that reach into different aspects of what Wanchain is doing. What is it that has you most excited about the technology that crypto will allow us?
Okay. Speaking of the technology, as you know, we always say the word decentralization.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's ironic that sometimes we lost or we are damaged by the undecentralized behavior, like we see the centralized exchange, the FTX, or the three arrows, the big fund.
Yeah.
So people may wonder why everybody is speaking of decentralization, but there's so many centralized thing in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
there's still so many centralized entities and a lot of centralization still, right? As we're moving towards decentralization.
exactly. So Wanchain in the beginning, back to 2017, when we first started the project, we chose the area of interoperability, which means we want to connect the different silo blockchains together and enable users to move their assets in the most secure and decentralized way. You don't necessarily go through centralized exchange. You don't necessarily go to any custodial services to store, to move, to cross your assets to another chain. So this is basically what Wanchain focused on in the past several years, and we are still developing the interoperability infrastructure for the industry. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because Wanchain developed a new way to do a trustless system. And for those users that don't know the difference between a trustless system and a trusted system, it almost sounds like a trusted system would have more trust. Well, it's way more risky, a trusted system, and you have to try to trust that the centralized entities won't steal your funds. For example, those audience members who saw that the project we're familiar with, Freeway Token, the trusted bridge they were storing their cross-chain tokens on to be able to bridge between BNB and ERC20 tokens. Well, that partner got hacked, and all of a sudden the token prices dumped. So that was a trusted bridge. Wanchain was pioneering since 2018 a trustless node system with storming nodes in a way where you don't have to trust that nobody will steal it, because the incentives are created in such a way that if anyone steals some, they'll get way less in a system like that. And so the cost versus the benefit is not there for them. Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, exactly. You make a very good point, the trustless and the trusted node system. But I can add one more point. Even in the trustless nodes or the bridge system, there are still some of the potential risks that the codes, the program itself has flaws, has bugs that has been manipulated by the hackers, as we saw several these exploits happened in the past, especially 1 or 2 years when the DeFi boomed.
Yeah, we'll see. So all of crypto is still susceptible to hacks because it's early days. And I feel like given more and more time, as so systems like code systems take a while to harden against all the potential avenues of attacks. And so as crypto matures more, those vectors of attacks, most of them will get buttoned down so that they're not susceptible, especially the good projects and responsible projects. So that's still a vector of attack that anyone can use against a trusted or trustless system, is if they're able to hack the system and exploit a code. And neither trusted or trustless systems are immune to that at this point. Hopefully, as we get further down the road and some of those exploits are discovered, we'll be able to eliminate that. Now, what has me excited about Wanchain and where crypto can go is I feel solid that trustless systems are the way to go for the future of the world as well as the future of crypto, which would prevent problems like what we saw at FTX, where you hope and pray that others that have custody of your funds don't do things like send them over to Alameda Capital or steal them. What are the trustless systems that Wanchain is working on within the crypto space?
Okay, we are trying to avoid any centralization, meaning we don't want to take the responsibility of custodial services, which is highly unreliable. It all depends on rely on your morality, depends on your integrity. So we just want to let the program or the code themselves to take the role of guarding your assets. As we build the bridge right now, I think we cover over a dozen of chains. We make those chains interoperable, and the assets on each of these chains can be moved by user themselves from one to another. And you don't rely on any custodial services. You don't rely on the node. You don't even rely on Wanchain team to take care of the security. But the code itself is implementing the security for the users and for those valuable assets. So this is what we are doing right now. And speaking of the future trend, on one aspect, we definitely want to strengthen the security of the bridges. As you see, there are some new technologies emerging right now. I just give a simple example like the zero knowledge rollups, which is one of the areas that Wanchain engineering team is trying to implement to strengthen the security for our interoperability solution. And on the other hand, we also want to expand the interoperability solution to more than moving the assets, which means right now you can see we make the tokens interoperable between different chains. But in the future, how about we can even make messages? We can even make those valuable data interoperable between different chains. That will be a completely new horizon for the industry to use. So something similar to the Oracle, as we can tell, that Oracle, is responsible for passing the price feeds between different chains. So we want to expand actually the price feeds to more broader area like information, data, etc. between different silo chains.
So you would make data able to change between the different chains. Because right now, a lot of the focus of Wanchain has been connecting up through bridges, trustless bridges, a lot of the chains out there. And what are some of the chains that Wanchain has already set up trustless bridges between?
Okay. Definitely, you can find the detailed list on Wanchain's website. As I recall here, we connected, the first is the Bitcoin network and then Ethereum. Now we expand to like XRPL, which is the Ripple Ledger, Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, what else? Xingfin Network. I think it's more than a dozen of
I
these.
know, right? I know. Without the list right in front of you, it's hard to keep track of all of them. It's exciting to see, right? Because Wanchain's already added so many, and as they add in the other ones, essentially you have a network that you can bridge across between pretty much everything in a trustless way. What are you most excited about that Wanchain is building that you feel like will be amazing, and where it will help this technology go?
Okay. Here comes to another important idea. Right now, we see a lot of connection infrastructure. I mean, the bridges between different chains, right? What will make Wanchain unique or different from the other solutions? That we are not limit ourselves to the EVM compatible chains, which means Ethereum or, as you can see, like
Polygon.
BSC, yeah, exactly, Polygon. So these are all EVM compatible chains. I know the solution for connecting the EVM chains is a bit easier than connecting to the non-EVM chains. A typical example is Bitcoin or even Ripple Ledger. So what Wanchain is going to do is that we are going to connect all there's a terminology, is heterogeneous chains. Simply speaking, non-EVM environment chains. As you know, we are working closely right now with Cardano Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to, Cardano is non-EVM, but they are very reputable and they have a lot of valuable assets, not to say they have maybe one of the largest communities in the crypto industry. We just want to connect Cardano to the other outside chains. And yeah.
That is extreme. There are a bunch of bridge systems out there, but you hit on a point that most of them are not able to connect up between non-EVM things. Like Bitcoin doesn't use the Ethereum virtual machine, and so solving that problem is much more complex. And already Wanchain's done a number of them. I'm excited where this is all going. As I was thinking about FTX and just processing the failures of that. I mean, what a shock that one of the biggest centralized exchanges essentially they've kind of been broke since June. Some things went badly for them, and they've just been hiding it. And, all these people that put funds on there. And I was thinking, what are the solutions? What are the takeaways from this? And so I asked, Tim, if there's somebody from Wanchain that would like to come on and talk about some of the technology that Wanchain is working on, because I feel like trustless systems are the ways to go. Because what if we could build a world where people could trade, they could send, they could bridge their tokens completely trustlessly with minimal fees. The systems are hardened against hacks, and there's especially no centralized keys in the hands of people who might abuse them to buy really expensive homes in the Bahamas or do all kinds of crazy things. That's the future that crypto can give us, and essentially no centralization in the hands of people like Sam Bankman-Fried. Multiple decentralized systems working trustlessly, bridging together, like Wanchain bridging over to Cardano. That's really exciting. I love Cardano's technology. That's one of my favorite projects and ecosystems. So I'm glad that partnership is going well. Lee, thank you for joining us. Is there anything else you wanted to share about what Wanchain's doing or what you're most excited about?
Okay. And I just want to also introduce to the community or the audience that actually we just launched the NFT cross-chain bridge not long before. So when you go to the bridge.wanchain.org, you can find actually not only those renowned assets like BTC, ETH, USDT, etc., but there's a section called NFT cross-chain. So actually, we are leveraging the same technology, the trustless bridge nodes, for people to move their NFT tokens from one of the chains to another. So actually, this is quite exciting for the community and for the projects. Meaning you can create your NFT here, and you can trade or you can sell your NFT there, and backwards is also possible. I think it's quite a cool function to use. And with the cross-chain bridge, NFT cross-chain bridge, we expand the creation of NFT to a broader, range that you can create anywhere, you can trade anywhere. So this is something I think users might just have a try. Okay, besides the NFT cross-chain bridge, also there's it's not a product, but it's based on the same technology we call Xflow. So the Xflow is not a swap the wrapped assets, but the genuine native tokens. Okay, I just give an example. When you have the Tether USDT on BSC, right? You want to move your USDT from BSC to Polygon. Then on the Wanchain Bridge page, you can see there are native USDT to be crossed from BSC to Polygon or to other layer 2s. So in this product, you are not swapping the wrapped assets, because as you know, there are several wrapped assets issued by the bridge projects themselves. But here, we are all using the native assets, the native USDT in this case, that those USDT are all issued by Tether company. So this also might be quite interesting. And we are going to expand the Xflow to not only the USD stables, but to the other valuable assets. Here's another example. You have Bitcoin, BTC, right? But if you want to, play some DeFi applications on Binance Smart Chain, which is BSC, they have Binance packed Binance packed the BTC there called the BTC. So we are going to use the bridge to connect the Bitcoin to BSC, that you can deposit your BSC here, your BTC here in the BTC network and get the equivalent amount of BTC out on the BSC network. So this will facilitate the users. You don't need to go to any centralized exchange anymore to change for the pegged assets. I personally think it's quite cool. Yeah.
So if I were to summarize, it makes your technology makes it possible for you to send native assets across instead of having to have, say there's a project that has 5 million tokens and they provide some liquidity. What they do is they have 5 million kind of on each chain, and they make a bunch inactive on each. And then as they, so what they're really doing, there's a huge duplication of tokens so that they can have a cross-chain bridge and be able to move it over, and they inactivate ones that aren't in use. But your technology allows you to actually send over the native asset. So there doesn't have to be this big duplication of tokens in order to be on two chains at the same time.
Exactly. You are definitely right. Yeah, I think it's quite friendly to the users. And you don't need to accept all those wrapped assets, because sometimes the wrapped assets mean nothing. It's worthless because it's issued by the bridge or by some of the third-party project.
Yes, and it keeps the simplicity down. It's very difficult to do what you've done. There are a lot of projects that have been trying to do that, and very few successful. It's really cool, the tech that Wanchain's been able to put forward. You know, I've been following Wanchain since 2017. And yeah, it's exceptional. I mean, so here we are in 2022, and some of the tech that you have developed is absolutely incredible. And I think it goes under the radar a lot of times how forward thinking a lot of this stuff is, that I do see the use coming in the future, because you provided so much functionality. For example, like so many do the wrapped tokens between, and it's better method to be able to send the native tokens across to the different chains. And can you imagine once they get 3 chains, then they have like 5 million tokens on each, and the complexity gets out of this world. Whereas if they're just able to send the native asset across the different chains, it keeps it to 5 million tokens that are done once. And you don't have the problem of a wrapped asset, which, like you said, could end up being worthless, and introduces just some confusion and additional complexity that doesn't need to be there. But in order to do the bridge that you've done, it's a really hard thing to do.
Correct.
Well, Lee, thank you for joining us and sharing more with the audience what Wanchain's up to, more about the technology that's being rolled out and has come out. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Rain. And thank you for having me today. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to meet you.
Okay, cool.
Yes, the market is down. It's way down. Smart decisions made during this time when prices are crazy lows do lead to life-changing results, and it's easy to get dispirited. A lot of the stuff came about actually in June. FTX is just now blowing up because there were some things hidden from us that we didn't know, but really things went wrong for it back when everything went wrong for a bunch of companies way back in June. And so we're just finding out about it now, and it's creating a kerfuffle, and it's actually dispiriting a lot of people, which often leads to a bigger exodus, and then the market can often recover. And I'm looking forward to that. Remember, no rain, no gain. Thanks so much for joining us. This wrap is for all of you. Hope you enjoy it.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always made the time in mind. I take the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, to leave in a lot. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, but time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy, but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong, cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be cracking. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough, and that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.